Trump derangement syndrome, it's writ large. What did you think about his trip to California, where the haters were everywhere, where the actors said anyone who turns up to the fundraiser, they must be outed? It's the new McCarthyism. Are you or have you ever been a Donald Trump supporter?
It is. It's probably the only part of the United States of America where that doesn't find Washington, D.C. absolutely plumb nuts. It's California. No, when you look at the Democratic debates and you look at some of the issues that are coming up in those debates, I look at the whole scene and I just think, the guy's going to get reelected, and he doesn't have to do anything to get reelected. Just let them talk. Send money. I want to send money to all, Elizabeth Warren and all these candidates, and just let them keep talking, because that's going to get Donald Trump reelected.
Yeah, keep yelling, please. The crazier, the better. How do you feel about it? I mean, look, the divide is well established, but there seems that the divide is almost a divide of delusion, right? Which is that if you take a certain diet of media, that's all the gold standard media that all hands out prizes to itself about how amazing it is, you have a view that there's a criminal in the White House.
Right.
Conversely, okay, if you listen to talk radio all day, you think that Jesus' brother is in the White House. I get that distortive factor.
Yeah.
What do you think is the more damaging factor, though? Do you think that the establishment refusing to recognise the reality of the Trump presidency, or sometimes the people who want to sort of turn Trump into a deity? What do you think is the more destructive factor?
Well, without a doubt, it is this. It's the hysteria on the left that has forsaken any hint that news outlets, the New York Times, the Washington Post, CNN, that they're news organizations anymore. They're not. They've become, hatchet men for the Democratic Party. And I've been in the news business. I started out in newspapers, 25 years ago. I love newspapers. I love the idea of holding powerful people accountable and exposing them for wrongdoing. I love all of that. And it's why I got into the news business. But to see what has happened to our business over, and it's always been sort of left-leaning. I get that. And, there are a lot of reasons for that. We could talk about it forever. But what we have seen over the past 2-3 years is appalling. And it's terrifying because, a free republic can't exist without a sensible, intelligent, informed electorate. And if you don't have, and if your media has gone completely off the rails, like with this whole Brett Kavanaugh situation, where you have the new standard for accusing somebody of the most atrocious crimes is that, well, nobody's saying it didn't happen. When that becomes the standard for newspaper journalists and editors who are editing the stories, and publishers who are publishing the stories, we're doomed. Just hang it up. It's been a great 215-year run, but it's over now because we can't go on.
Well, and it's that thing. I mean, the Kavanaugh thing, we've talked about it a lot on the show this week, just as an example of the delusion that can exist, right? So a story pops up weekend in the New York Times about a book written by people who work for the New York Times that has a claim that at some point in time he pulled his pants down, put his penis in the face of a woman. Here's the problem. The woman doesn't remember it. The woman didn't speak to the reporters. The main source is a Democratic operative who, of course, is just trying to, bloody up Brett Kavanaugh.
And who went toe-to-toe with Brett Kavanaugh, 20 years ago in the Clinton impeachment trial. So there's no credible source here. There's nothing. Yeah. There's just the holy grail, which is Trump impeachment and undoing what he has done, that it is overwhelmingly approved of by, the American people. And here's the other thing. When you stop and think about, obviously, 50% polling for a president is sort of, I think, kind of the new normal. Barack Obama struggled with the exact same thing. The days when George H.W. Bush enjoyed 89% approval rating, I think those are probably over, at least for now.
Yeah.
But the idea, imagine the amount of press, hotly, fiercely negative press, that Donald Trump endures in this country. It is astounding. And to think that he still maintains like 50% approval rating is amazing to me.
The hope that I have, and certainly it was the experience that we had in Australia in our election, our establishment media was desperate. You know, this government has to go because they didn't like their political stripe. That, you know, God forbid you're centre-right. And of course, centre-right means far-right, and far-right means alt-right, and alt-right means Nazi, right? So it's like straight away. Okay, like you don't sing off the lefty song sheet, kiss the ring, bang. You're in there with the worst of them. It happens all over the world. Is that people tune out, and people tune out. I mean, in this country, you know, cable news is a big, noisy thing, but it's watched by about 10 million people. It's a country of 300 million.
Such a great point.
120 million people voted at the last election. More people watch football or Dancing with the Stars or all this other stuff, and that's what I find so ridiculous about the carry-on of the Congress people, because you just look at the numbers, right? You're here to cut regulations. If there is a regulation, it's about keeping people safe. You're about creating jobs. You're about getting out of the way. That's what people vote for. They don't vote to send somebody to the heart of power to appeal to people on cable news or talk radio for 2 years.
And nothing upsets people around here more than the point you just made, because it suggests that people aren't paying attention to them. And that it suggests that they don't have the power that they would like to think that they have. But honestly, this is the thing that more than anything that keeps me going. The contempt that these people have for President Trump. It's not just contempt for President Trump. It's the profound contempt they have for all the millions of regular American people that he represents.
Absolutely.
And it's that kind of disdain. And I look at them, I'm like, these are the people who work every day. They're the ones who are paying your salaries. They pay the bills for all this construction going on down here. They pay for everything. So you might want to show a little bit of frickin' respect for them, but they don't. And they have contempt for them. It says shut up and keep paying.
Yeah, correct. Your job is to pay the tax and shut up. That is your job. Do not push back. Twitter is for the people who agree with us, and Twitter ain't real life.